Hello, welcome to the Cheater's Diary, where we share raw, real-life stories packed with emotion and unforgettable twists. If you love this video, hit the like button and subscribe to join us in spreading these meaningful tales. Now, let's dive into today's journey. It was one of those lazy Saturday mornings in Austin where the sun filtered through my blinds, casting lazy shadows on the hardwood floor. I was sprawled on my couch, scrolling through my phone, when I noticed a missed call from Jake. He'd left his earbuds at my place after we hung out last night. No big deal. I grabbed the earbuds off the coffee table, shot him a text saying I'd swing by, and hopped on my bike. Jake's place was just a short ride across town, in a quiet neighborhood with tidy lawns and picket fences. I'd been there a million times. I figured Jake's mom, Sarah, would be home. She usually was on weekends, either gardening or holed up in her office. I didn't think much of her. She was just Jake's mom, a kind woman in her early 40s who always seemed put together. I rang the doorbell, expecting Jake to answer, but when the door swung open, I froze. It was Sarah, standing there in just a white towel, her dark hair dripping wet from a shower. Her eyes widened for a split second, but she didn't seem fazed. Me, I was a mess. My face burned, and I stared at my sneakers, clutching the earbuds like a lifeline. "Hey, Ethan," she said, her voice calm, almost amused. "What's up?" I stammered, holding up the earbuds like they'd save me. I'm just dropping these off for Jake. He forgot them at my place." She smiled, a warm, easy smile that made my stomach flip. "Thanks, that's sweet of you. Jake's out running errands, but he'll be back soon." She tucked a wet strand of hair behind her ear. The motion so casual, it threw me off. "Want to come in? I just made coffee." I hesitated. Go inside? With her like that? My brain screamed to bail, but saying no felt rude. "Sure, yeah," I mumbled, stepping inside before I could overthink it. The house smelled like fresh coffee and lavender. Familiar, but today it felt different. Sarah gestured to the couch. "Make yourself at home. I'll throw something on and be right back." I sat, gripping the earbuds, trying to calm my racing heart. What was I doing here? This was just a quick drop-off, right? A few minutes later, Sarah came back in a loose t-shirt and jeans, her hair still damp but pulled back. She handed me a mug of black coffee. "I remember you like it plain, right?" I blinked, surprised. "Yeah, how'd you know that?" She laughed softly. "I notice things. Jake's always forgetting stuff, so I keep track." She sat across from me, sipping her coffee. "So, how's college going? It's been a while since we've caught up." I shrugged, trying to play it cool. "It's all right. Classes, work, the usual." I didn't know what to say. I'd never really talked to Sarah one-on-one like this. She was always just Jake's mom. But today, she was different. She asked about my classes, my job at the campus bookstore. Her voice was warm, like she genuinely cared. I found myself relaxing, even laughing when she teased me about my bad habit of staying up late. Then her tone shifted. "Ethan, can I ask you something? Does Jake seem okay to you? He's been, distant lately." Her question caught me off guard. I thought about Jake, how he'd been his usual loud, goofy self. "He seems fine to me," I said, "but I'll keep an eye out." She nodded, but her eyes looked tired, like she was carrying something heavy. "Thanks. I just worry sometimes." Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and for the first time, I saw her as more than Jake's mom. She was a person with her own worries, her own life. I glanced at my phone, realizing I'd stayed too long. "I should get going," I said, standing. "Thanks for the coffee." I handed her the earbuds. Her fingers brushed mine just for a second, and my heart skipped. "Thanks for stopping by, Ethan," she said, her voice soft. "Come back anytime." I rode home, my mind spinning. What just happened? It was just coffee, just a quick visit. But Sarah's smile, her voice, it stuck with me. Something had shifted, and I wasn't sure what it meant. The days after that awkward morning, I couldn't shake Sarah from my mind. Her damp hair, her easy smile, the way she looked at me like I was more than just her son's friend. I told myself it was nothing, that I was overthinking it. Jake was my best friend. Sarah was his mom. End of story. But the feeling lingered, like a song stuck in my head. One afternoon, I was at the grocery store, grabbing stuff for dinner. I was half-heartedly tossing chips into my cart when I heard her voice. Sarah stood there, holding a jar of marinara sauce, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. She wore a light blue blouse, her hair tied back, looking effortlessly put together. My throat tightened. "Hey, Sarah," I said, forcing a smile. "Didn't expect to see you here." "Same," she said, laughing. "You shopping for something fancy?" I glanced at my cart and grinned. "Nah, probably just ramen. Keeps it simple." She rolled her eyes, playful. "Ramen? You're worse than Jake. You need real food, Ethan." Her laugh was bright, and I couldn't help but laugh too. We walked through the aisles together, chatting like it was the most normal thing. She asked about my job, my plans for summer. I told her about nearly flunking a history exam because I zoned out in class, and she cracked up, sharing how she once fell asleep at one of Jake's PTA meetings. It was easy, comfortable, like we'd always talked like this. Then she paused by the produce section, her voice softening. "Ethan, do you ever feel stuck, like the world's moving, but you're just standing still?" Her question hit me hard. I looked at her, seeing a flicker of sadness in her eyes. "Yeah," I admitted. "Some days I don't know what I'm doing with my life." She nodded, like she got it. "I feel that too. Jake's grown, out with friends all the time. The house feels empty sometimes." Her smile was tinged with something heavy, something real. I didn't know what to say, but I wanted to make her feel better. "You're doing great, Sarah. Jake's lucky to have you." She looked at me, her eyes softening. "Thanks, Ethan. That means a lot." Her hand brushed mine as she reached for a tomato, and my heart raced. Before we parted at the checkout, she said, "Hey, you free tonight? I'm making lasagna. Jake's out with friends, so it'd be nice to have company." Her words caught me off guard. I should have said no, but her hopeful look made it impossible. "Sure, I'll come by," I said, my voice betraying my nerves. That night, I showed up at her house with a bottle of soda, feeling like an idiot for being so nervous. Sarah opened the door, wearing an apron, her smile wide. "Right on time," she said, ushering me in. The kitchen smelled like garlic and basil, warm and inviting. We sat at the table, plates of lasagna steaming in front of us. We talked, really talked. She told me about her college days, how she used to dream of opening an art gallery. "Now I just doodle when I'm stressed," she said, laughing. I asked to see her sketches, and she waved me off, but her eyes lit up. "Maybe someday," she teased. When I told her about my own vague dreams of doing something meaningful, she leaned forward. "You'll figure it out, Ethan. I can tell you've got a good heart." Her words warmed me, but her gaze, steady, intense, made my chest tight. After dinner, I helped her clear the plates. Standing in the kitchen, I caught the faint scent of her perfume, soft and floral. We didn't say much, but the silence felt alive. As I left, she touched my arm. "Thanks for tonight, Ethan. I needed this." "Me too," I said, meaning it. Riding home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. Sarah wasn't just Jake's mom anymore. She was someone I wanted to know, someone who made me feel seen, and that scared me. After that dinner, Sarah was everywhere in my mind. Her laugh, her stories, the way she looked at me like I mattered. It was messing with my head. Jake was my best friend, and here I was, thinking about his mom. I tried to focus on school, on hanging out with Jake, but every time I saw him, guilt twisted in my gut. One Friday night, Jake texted me to meet at our favorite bar downtown. I figured a few beers would clear my head. The place was loud, packed with college kids and locals. I grabbed a beer and leaned against the counter, waiting for Jake. Then I saw her. Sarah was there, sitting at a corner table with a couple of friends, a glass of wine in her hand. She looked relaxed in a sweater, her hair loose. When she saw me, she waved me over, her smile bright. "Ethan, come join us." My heart pounded as I walked over. "Hey, Sarah," I said, trying to sound casual. "Didn't know you'd be here." "Girls' night out," she said, grinning. "Haven't done this in forever." Her eyes sparkled under the bar lights, and I had to look away to keep my cool. I sat down, joining her and her friends. We talked about random stuff, the new brewery in town, a dumb movie we'd all seen. Sarah's laugh was infectious, and every time our eyes met, I felt a jolt. But then Jake showed up, clapping me on the back. I focused on Jake, joking about a basketball game we'd watched, but my mind kept drifting to Sarah. She chimed in, telling a story about Jake breaking his bike as a kid, and we all laughed. But her glances at me felt different, like they carried a secret. When Jake went to grab another round, it was just me and Sarah. The noise of the bar faded, and I took a chance. "Sarah, you doing okay? You've mentioned feeling off lately." She paused, twirling her wine glass. "You're perceptive," she said softly. "I'm fine, but it gets lonely sometimes. Jake's got his own life now. I'm just figuring out mine." Her honesty hit me. "I get that," I said. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions too." She looked at me, her eyes soft but intense. "It helps having someone to talk to, like you." Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Jake came back, breaking the moment. "What's with the serious faces?" He laughed, sliding beers across the table. I forced a smile, but my mind was racing. Sarah's words, her look, they were real. Something was happening between us, and it wasn't just in my head. As we left the bar, Sarah's goodbye lingered. "Take care, Ethan," she said, her voice soft. Our eyes met for a second too long, and my stomach flipped. On the walk home, I couldn't stop replaying that moment. She wasn't just Jake's mom anymore. She was Sarah, and I was falling into something I couldn't control. After that night at the bar, I knew I'd crossed a line. Sarah wasn't just a fleeting thought anymore. She was real, and what I felt for her was real too. It scared me, but it also pulled me in. A few days later, I got a text from her. "You free? Need to talk." My heart raced. I replied I'd come over, knowing Jake was at a concert. When I got to her house, Sarah opened the door, her smile soft but nervous. She wore a gray sweater, her hair loose. "Come in, Ethan," she said, leading me to the living room. The house smelled like coffee, warm and familiar. She handed me a mug and sat across from me, her hands wrapped around her own cup. "Ethan, we need to talk about this," she said, her voice steady but quiet. "You feel it too, don't you? This thing between us." I swallowed hard, my mouth dry. I wanted to deny it, to keep things simple, but I couldn't lie. "Yeah," I said, my voice low. "I feel it, but I don't know what it means, or what to do." She nodded, like she'd expected that. "Neither do I, but I can't pretend it's not there." Her eyes met mine, unflinching. "I don't want to mess things up, especially with Jake, but you make me feel alive again." Her words hit me like a wave. I knew this was wrong, knew it could ruin everything. But I felt it too. "I don't want to hurt Jake either," I said. "But when I'm with you, it feels right." She reached out, her hand resting on mine. "If we're careful, if we keep this between us, maybe it can work." Her voice was soft, but there was a strength in it. "Do you want to try?" Every rational part of me screamed to walk away. But I didn't. I squeezed her hand, nodding. "Yeah, I do. That's how it started. Our secret. We were careful. I only came over when Jake was out. We texted through an app that deleted messages after a day. Our moments were simple. Coffee, quiet talks, sometimes just sitting together. She told me about her dreams of traveling, about the years she put her life on hold for Jake. I opened up about my fears, my doubts about the future. With her, I could be honest in a way I couldn't with anyone else. But the guilt was always there. Hanging out with Jake felt like a lie. He'd laugh, joke, be the same old Jake, but I'd see Sarah's face in my mind, and my chest would tighten. One night, we were playing video games at his place. Sarah brought us sodas, her voice casual. "Don't stay up too late, you two." But when she handed me a can, her fingers brushed mine, deliberate but subtle. Our eyes met, and my heart raced. Jake didn't notice, but I did. We got good at hiding it. No public meetings, no slip-ups, but every moment with Sarah felt like stealing time. She wasn't just Jake's mom anymore. She was Sarah, funny, thoughtful, alive. One night, as we sat on her couch, she leaned against me. "Ethan, do you ever think we're doing something wrong?" I thought about Jake, about the risks. "Yeah," I admitted. "But when I'm here, with you, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like where I'm supposed to be." She smiled, squeezing my hand. "Me too. But we have to be careful. For Jake, for us." I nodded, knowing she was right. In those moments, with her beside me, I didn't care about the risks. I just wanted to hold on to this secret. A year of stolen moments, quiet glances, and conversations that made me feel alive, but also a year of guilt, of looking at Jake and knowing I was hiding something. I'd learned to live with both, the joy of Sarah and the weight of our truth. One Saturday night, I was back at her house. Jake was out with friends, as usual. I sat on the couch, the same spot where it all began, watching the soft glow of lamplight on the walls. Sarah came out of the kitchen with 2 mugs of peach tea, my favorite. She wore a white sweater, her hair loose, looking calm and radiant. "Your tea," she said, smiling as she set the mug down. "Thanks," I said, wrapping my hands around the warm mug. I watched her sit beside me, close but not too close, her presence steady and familiar. Things were different now, not tense like in the beginning, but comfortable, like we'd found our rhythm. She sipped her tea, her eyes drifting to the window. "Do you ever think about how we got here, Ethan?" she asked softly. "From that day you dropped off Jake's earbuds?" I smiled, remembering her in that towel, my awkward stammering. "All the time," I said. "I still can't believe we've kept this going for a year." She laughed, leaning back. "I know. Sometimes I thought we'd stop, that one of us would pull back. But I don't want to." She looked at me, her eyes warm but serious. "What about you?" I paused, my fingers tracing the mug's edge. Her question made me think of Jake, of the times I'd had to act normal around him. I thought of the nights I'd lain awake, wondering what I was doing. But looking at her, it all made sense. "I don't want to stop either," I said, my voice steady. "With you, I feel, right, even if it's messy." She nodded, like she understood everything I didn't say. "It's never going to be perfect," she said. "But I've learned to cherish what we have, these moments, just ours." I took her hand, feeling its familiar warmth. "Same. But do you ever worry about Jake finding out, or everything falling apart?" She sighed, her gaze dropping to our hands. "More than you know. But I tell myself, if we're careful, if we keep it like this, maybe it'll be okay." She looked up, her smile bittersweet. "I don't want to lose this, Ethan. Or you." Her words hit me hard. I wanted to say something profound, but all I managed was, "I don't want to lose you either." Her eyes held mine, and for a moment, the world was just us. We sat in silence, the only sound the ticking of the wall clock. I thought about the past year, the secret meetings, the deleted texts, the fleeting touches. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to tell Jake, to end the guilt. But then I'd think of Sarah, of how she made me feel understood, valued, and I couldn't let go. She stood, walking to the window, staring into the night. "You know," she said, her voice soft, "I thought I'd never feel this again, like I was really living, not just going through the motions." She turned, her eyes bright. "You gave me that, Ethan. It's complicated, but I don't regret it." I got up, standing close. "I don't either," I said. "Some days I'm scared, but here, with you, it's worth it." She smiled, touching my shoulder. "So we keep going, right? Careful, but not giving up." I nodded, feeling a strange peace. "Yeah, as long as it's us, I think we'll be okay." She pulled me into a gentle hug, her heartbeat steady against me. As I left, stepping into the cool night, I felt lighter. This wasn't perfect. It was sneaky, messy, risky, but it was ours. And right then, I knew I wanted to hold on to it. It's about love, secrets, and the choices we make when our hearts pull us in directions we never expected. I've learned that life isn't black and white. Sometimes the things that feel so right come with a price. Sarah and we're still figuring it out, living in the quiet spaces we've carved for ourselves. But it makes me wonder, what would you do? Have you ever been caught between what feels right and what you know might hurt someone? That's what The Cheater's Diary is all about, digging into the messy human side of love and loyalty. So, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you keep a secret like this? Or would you come clean? Maybe you've got your own story of forbidden feelings or tough choices. Share it with us. Your story could be the next one we tell. And if this hit home for you, hit that like button, subscribe to The Cheater's Diary, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next tale of tangled hearts. Let's keep this conversation going, because in love, there's always more to the story.